Thursday or COVID we met Thursday and just
I'd like to welcome all Rotarians and guests in the room as well as on Zoom. My name is Steve Sperling and I'm your president for this Rotary year. Each month, Rotary highlights a theme of interest for all Rotary clubs throughout the world. This month's it is educational service, which is exemplified by our speakers. As you know, our Rotary president has highlighted the theme this year, Unite for Good. Ashok Hammell will help us with the four-way test.
Fellow Rotarians, would you, if you stand up if you may, or can, and join me in the four-way test? Of all the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all? Third, will it build goodwill and our friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And in our area, is it fun? I'm going to add for today, will it also build trust?
Although it's good. If you can remain standing, actually, we're going to pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our happy thoughts total is actually a little in flux right now. For those of you who don't know, Frank Allen has had medical issue and he's on medical leave right now. So we're actually uncertain of we get reconciliation as soon as he is able to do that. But it's pretty close. John, were there any additional dollars today for happy thoughts? He'll get to that.
I'll take that up for him.
Okay.
I was reminded since anytime I'm gone, which is a lot, I'm always on that little camera waving from either Dallas for 3 months or LA for 2 months. And I heard some from my friends never go to LA, and you're right, 2.5 hours one way each way. So here's my $10 from before, and it grew to another $10. So my happy thoughts is just let's pray for less chaos and more sanity. Please, God. Amen. Any happy thoughts?
Happy to add a few thoughts for today. One, peace, more from conflict, but also peace around the world. The World Economic Forum is going to start in a week or two, and it's also trying to understand how to shift to governance models towards peace and not just competitive economics.
Just a couple of dollars. I had my, we were down in the city or in Chicago for the holiday break, but then 2 of my daughters were able to pop up here and visit with us and actually fell in love with Rochester. And one of them is kind of looking at apartments in Rochester and job opportunities now. So maybe I can move some people here.
And Mayor Norton did a wonderful job encouraging that whole thought today, and we give hats off to her and our commissioner, Laura Philpott, to make that happen. Any other happy thoughts? Yes, we have a happy thought here.
A little bit sad, but also pleasant. My brother had passed away just before Christmas back in Michigan. He was suffering from Parkinson's and dementia, but he's at peace now, and it was nice to have our entire family kind of go in for the funeral. So with that, thanks.
And I know we all have happy thoughts, and we're going to give happy thoughts. Oh, one more. Happy thoughts to Frank that he gets healthy.
That's my happy thought is I hope that Frank will Down the store and, we're thinking of it.
All right, team, well, let's all go forth, lead by example, make it a happy service of ourselves, and you never want to leave money with me. I'm bad at that.
Thanks for helping out. Ellie, good. Do our reflection today.
I don't know if you read in the Minnesota Tribune about the solstice. And it really resonated with me, and I hope you enjoy this. It was written by a Charles DiVincenzo. He said, in Minnesota, the winter solstice arrives with kind of quiet ceremony. The landscape narrows to its barest essentials. The sky leans low. The cold sharpens the edges of the day, and the light, thin, pale, almost hesitant, feels like a guest we're trying to coax to stay just a little longer. On the solstice, we live inside the longest night, and yet this is also the moment when the earth begins its slow tilt back toward the sun. The turn is subtle, almost invisible, but it marks a truth older than language. Even in the deepest dark, something in the world is quietly choosing light again. This year, I think many of us needed that reminder. Across Minnesota and across the country, people carried more than they said out loud. Some walked with steady steps, others moved haltingly, unsure of their footing. Many retreated for a time, not because they did not care, but because caring deeply in a loud world can feel overwhelming. The world has been noisy. Loud opinions, sharp divisions, a constant stream of things said too quickly and felt too deeply. The bluster of the year demanded reactions when what most people needed was space, a breath, a moment, a pause long enough to gather themselves. Which is why I keep thinking about plows. Earlier this month, on a late night flight into Minneapolis, I looked down and saw those familiar blue safety lights sweeping slowly across the highways. A line of plows moved in deliberate rhythm, guiding snow into neat rows as if performing a quiet winter ballet. No rush, no bravado, just people doing the work that keeps the rest of us moving. There was a dignity in that scene, a reminder that much of the world is held together not by the loudest voices, but by the steady ones, the ones who show up in the coldest hours, the ones who do not need attention to do what needs doing, the ones who keep paths passable for others. The solstice feels like a tribute to them, to all of us, especially the ones who move quietly. Not everyone meets life head on. Some step back before they step forward. Some need stillness before they can offer warmth. Some carry their light softly, as if afraid it might go out. Winter makes room for them. Winter understands retreat. Winter knows that stillness is not stagnation. It is preparation. And as the darkest day leans toward the light, the season offers a gentle truth. We do not have to match the world's volume to belong in it. We can return in our own time, in our own way. We can choose small kindness over sharp judgments, quiet presence over constant reaction. The solstice teaches subtly. Hope does not arrive with applause, it glows. Belonging is not demanded, it accumulates. And courage, more often than not, looks like simply continuing. So as we stand at this turning point of the year, my wish is simple. May we notice the small lights, the ones in kitchens at dawn, the ones on plows at midnight, the ones in people who think their glow goes unseen. May we soften, even slightly, toward one another. May we remember that a single warm gesture in a cold season can be its own kind of miracle. The solstice does not promise immediate brightness. It promises movement toward it, and sometimes that is enough.
Thank you, Al. I think it's a poignant message for this other, especially given what's happened since then. In the noisy time, just be reminded that we have to make longer, we have hope. Thank you so much. And Ashok again will help us with introduction of guests.
Thank you, President Steve. It is my pleasure to welcome again Commissioner Laurel Podolko Smith. She is here to become a member of our club, and we welcome you. I will save the embellishments for next time. And the other guest we'd like to welcome is going to be our speaker, Sierra Lyon, Lyon, and Melissa Hammell. So thank you. I wanted to just echo in terms of examples of leadership and servanthood. The presentation we'll have on Make a Wish really complements the Live a Dream theme for Rochester Fest a couple of years ago. And the other from light, courage, and our vocation. The root of vocation is vocare, which is voice. If we get still enough and quiet enough, we can hear that inner calling, which will be our authentic representation and gift back to the world. Thank you.
Well, as a Latin major, I'm always pleased to hear that sort of reference. Root cause call words. Want to congratulate all our members with January birthdays and anniversaries as listed on the previous slide. Once again, I'll send out around the sign-up sheet for our next meeting, which is our next regular meeting, which is January 22nd. Next week we'll have it'll be the third Thursday, so it'll be the small group meetings, and we're going to continue the topic speaking about AI next week, and then week after will be the regular programming. So this is that, and I think I started. I don't remember, so let's start up here. Does anyone have any announcements today that haven't already?
Yes. I was here and at noon, I looked at my phone and I was supposed to be the official greeter today. So I think 95% of you came in the door and I didn't say hello. So this is the official welcome to Rotary. Oh, my other announcement is I hope the programs and the next program that you just mentioned, the 22nd, the Rotary exchange students that are overseas, and we're zooming in, and it's always been a delight to talk with these students in their foreign homes. So I just thought I'd give you a heads up on that meeting.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, again, the exchange student presentation is always fun, and it is delight because these students have had a chance to really become settled in by this time of year in their respective countries. So they feel a little more confident, a little bit less anxious. Look forward to seeing. Yes.
Tom Meyer talked to me today at the meeting. He's got a meeting he's going to promote our Rotary Club. And he was asking about, do we have any brochures? And no, we don't. Yes, we got a template. Our trips and I've been working on it. We need to update it, but we'd like to get some feedback from members. If anybody be interested in helping us do that, please see me or Mark.
These are brochures that will be available for trifold PR events, exactly like this one that's coming up on Monday.
I think we we talked about one time, we had business cards at one time, right? Do we still have those?
I don't know.
I think those would be helpful with a QR code to go to our website might be the easiest way.
Also put it on, for sure, yeah.
We did have business cards. I helped produce them. We did have business cards. Matt Drips, you should pay attention. Matt Drips, you should pay attention. We did have business cards, and I think your shop printed them. I had like 500 made, and it had all three clubs on them. I don't know what happened. I mean, you print those, and as soon as you print them, a club changes the meeting time or place, but I think we can still make them up.
Can we put a QR code on them to our website?
Yeah.
Then it would, maybe you wouldn't need that information all on the card. You would just have generic information about Rotary and then the website is updated. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Now, Sampson has been announced about the upcoming Cook for Kids dinner. The Jeremiah program in January.
My original ask was gonna be for help, helping serve and helping provide the meal, but I'm excited to tell you and thank you all for already filling up slots. So we'll have an opportunity again in May and then again in September, so watch for the sign up to come out, but thank you for all of those that are helping.
Isn't that nice? You just put out the ask and Rotary and serve. There's a service club open house Monday, this coming Monday, featuring a chili feed, and it's gonna be 4:30 to 7:30 at the Elks Club, which is at the Northgate Plaza. I think it's on the west side of Northgate Plaza. And this is an opportunity for the public. And they can come and explore options that are available for service clubs in Rochester. And maybe answer the question, why should I join a service club? It's the first time that this has been done. I think it's a really great idea. It'll be also an opportunity for other service clubs to interact and have maybe a little fellowship with each other too. So a social event, they're potentially expecting maybe over 100 people from the public to show up. So it should be a big event. It'll be a good turnout, not bad weather. And so things to get some interest in joining Rotary.
Do we have people to represent Rotary lined up?
We do, yes. What we don't have is trifle
Oh,
brochure.
business
Or
cards.
business cards.
Are those business cards by
Drips.
January 12th?
By the 12th?
No.
Or
You know a guy?
I'll see what I can do. That's gonna ask.
Good. Heavy lift. I want to give an update on the district intern meeting, which was last weekend. And it was up in the cities at the base camp facility that's by Fort Snelling. Just a few of the things that we talked about that morning. Dave Martell was there, Gottschalk was there. Is there anybody else from our club that there were all three clubs were represented very well, I thought, at that meeting. Stuart's not here today, but one of the first things they said was they would highly recommend the annual survey. So we got that done. He's going to present on that in February. Another thing I wanted to highlight was that the potential younger members of today, what do they want? What are they after? And what are their interests? Well, they want, so according to these stories, they want flexible engagement with Rotary clubs. They want to reflect their values, not necessarily our values, and they want action and immediate impact with projects that they're involved in. They want to have the club feel dynamic and inclusive. And they want to have a cause-based affiliation and project-based affiliation. And they expect to have digital interaction with their, even in their very first interaction with Rotary. They want authenticity. And then also, one major thing that stuck in my head that was raised at a question and answer was, if you're not proud of your Rotary Club, why would you ask somebody to join? So I want you to kind of think about that one and ruminate on that one. What can we do better to make ourselves more proud of our club and address the potential desires of new members? And maybe Laura will cap you for some of those things as well. Oh, and the other thing they mentioned was promoting companion clubs, which we're already doing too. So that made us feel good. A group fellowship exchange was announced to us at the midterm, and we are hosting that. There'll be a group that's coming down, or flying in Minneapolis, coming down to Rochester on May 26th, and they will be staying in Rochester from the May 26th to May 28th. They're from Argentina. Group size will be uncertain at this point, but either potentially 6 couples or 6 individuals, but up to 12 people. And so we'll need to provide housing for 2 nights for these people. And this is our 3 clubs, not just our club that will do this. And we'll need to provide ideas for what might they be interested in seeing in Rochester. We'll need to provide transportation back to St. Paul. The transportation from Minneapolis to Rochester is provided, but we need to provide it for the next location that they're going with, St. Paul on the 28th.
Are you looking for volunteers right now, or that's just a heads up?
It's a heads up because it's a ways out, but if you know your schedule, we'd be happy to volunteer. My wife and Shelley and I are going to host at least a couple, maybe 3 of them, but we haven't even talked about this at the 3 club meeting, which is coming up. But yeah, we're interested in volunteers. We're interested in ideas or great things that they can do while they're here. Of course, they'll probably want to see it now, but besides that, we're all
Black too.
How many will that be?
anywhere from 6 to 12 people.
And if we have an interest in hosting, we'd be getting in touch with. Yeah.
Before we would introduce our speakers, I should say, I would like to mention that we are continuing to make progress on our fundraiser for next year, which is our bike ride. You know that. What you don't know is that some things have changed since that the last time we talked about this. And we are using bikemn.org as a facilitator, but that was how we were going to do it, and that's still how we're going to do it. However, the big change is that they've negotiated a potential partnership with the Med City Meander. Now, I don't know how many bikers we have here, but Med City Meander is unique in that it was successful, wildly successful, its very first year, which was 2 years ago. It continued that tradition last year, even growing. So to be able to be associated with that ride, a successful, well-run, quality product, and be partnered with them is ideal. It reduces our cost substantially. It reduces our risk substantially, and it will increase our ride participation substantially. The part that Rotary is going to be asked to do is there was maybe one thing lacking, and if you've not done these bike rides, you wouldn't know. But Med City Meander was family focused and a shorter ride. It was just kind of a meander at the 28.5 mile ride. Those are the 2 lengths they have. They didn't have anything for maybe a little more serious riders that want to ride 50, 70. and for marketing purposes, to try to get somebody to come in the cities or St. Cloud or Wisconsin or Iowa to ride 28 miles, they're not likely to do it. So this allows that option. That will be our option called at least right now, it's going to be called the Rochester Rotary Ramble. And that will be big or actually two weeks, but it'll be the longer effort. So we'll continue to work out the details, but we'll need support from everybody to hold this event and make it a success, hopefully for years to come. So just wanted to update that. Oh, and the date has changed. The date will be, instead of being associated with Rochester Fest, it'll actually be at City Gander, which is May 23rd this coming year. So get that on your calendar. May 23rd, we'll be meeting volunteers. We won't get as many as we would have needed before, which is nice. But we'll still need volunteers and support. And we, of course, will need sponsorship if we're making any money. That will be forthcoming.
I have a question. What's the minimum miles?
Sort of older.
You mentioned 28 miles, which I could never do anymore on a regular bike, but now I have an e-bike. But I have young grandchildren and they're never gonna bike 28 miles. So what's there's gotta be something for families, right?
Yes, there is even right now, existing distance that's for families. I think they might even have two distances. There's a very short ride around Cascade Lake. It's about a mile.
Yeah.
And then they have a little bit longer one, I think might be 5 miles. That's the first one is more like just kids.
Yeah.
And the second one would be more for families. So yeah, those distances are real good. With this addition, we should have pretty much all bases covered, except we don't have a gravel ride at this point. We're considering that maybe in the future because it doesn't really involve a lot of support from our standpoint. Gravel riders with ability, they're kind of crazy. It's totally unsupported. Go out and gravel for 100 miles and you go back and you'll cover with mud and be so happy.
Hey, Steve, you want to make an announcement about Jeremiah for Tuesday,
We did.
Maryland's not here.
We made her. This time I'd like to introduce our speakers. Well, actually, I'll introduce Sierra and Sierra's going to introduce. Sierra Lyon is a manager of corporate partnerships at Make-A-Wish, Minnesota, where she connects companies and with opportunities to help grant life-changing wishes for children with critical illness. Sarah's from La Crosse, and she received her bachelor's of business administration and marketing from Viterbo. She's began her fundraising career with what you founded, Abilities in Harmony. I did not know that. That is a nonprofit choir, show choir that is for individuals who wouldn't have the opportunity to be on stage. And she's was a fundraiser and event planner for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. In her free time, she enjoys water skiing, dance, and travel. She is a former Rotarian, Rotary After Hours Club of La Crosse, and she's passionate about community engagement. And she and Melissa both exemplify our Rotary Auto Service website.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sierra Lyon. As he shared, I was a part of Rotary when I lived in Wisconsin. I moved to the Twin Cities a couple of years ago. Haven't joined a club yet, but I was very involved with our club. And so I was excited to see that you're all doing a friendship exchange. I hosted 2 women from Poland a couple of years ago, and it was super exhausting. I mean, they're just going the whole time. My family taught the friendship exchange how to water ski. It was a super cool experience. But I'm excited to be here sharing with you all today. When I was a Rotarian, I was very involved in our foundation and working on the global grant project focus on women and children's health. Really just compelled me to stay involved with that, not only in, my personal service, but also in my professional service as well. So I'm here today to share with you all about Make-A-Wish Minnesota. So I think a big misconception that people have about our organization is that we're not local. People have heard of Make-A-Wish, you see it on TV. If you're on Facebook, you've certainly had a video come across your feed of a child that's received a wish. But we are local. So Make-A-Wish is not only national, but international, and we are able to work in local chapters. So all money that stays or that's raised local stays local. So our chapter is the state of Minnesota. And you'll notice on my slides today, all of the kiddos and their families on the screen are from this area. So this little guy here, Jude, he's from Lyon, Minnesota. And so our mission is to create life-changing wishes for children with critical illness. I think that's the other big misconception about our organization is that people think children referred to our program are only referred if they're terminally ill. Well, of course, that is the case for many children that do receive a wish. 70% of kiddos actually go on to live 5 or more years past the time of their wish being granted. And so we really believe that hope is a super powerful thing. I've heard that mentioned a couple of times today throughout the meeting, the power of hope. And we hear time and time again from families, and you can go to the next slide. Actually, sorry, before you do, I love this picture. We have wishes of all different kinds. There's some that are more common than others. If anyone is familiar, I believe they're on HGTV and maybe they even have their own TV channel now. But the wish was to meet Joanna Gaines. And so that little girl is from Rochester. We hear time and time again, not only from families and the children that receive the wishes, but also their medical providers, truly how impactful the power of a wish is. So I'm not going to read every single statistic up on the screen, but 9 out of 10 medical providers observed the wish experience had a positive impact on the child's physical well-being and overall quality of life. There was a family I had the pleasure of meeting earlier this year that their son, he had a brain tumor, he was terminally ill, and he was diagnosed and referred to Make-A-Wish during the height of the pandemic. And his wish was to go to Disney World. And people are not going to Disney World in 2020, right? They're barely even going maybe in 2021. But they got to the point in his treatment journey where if he didn't go now, he wasn't going to get to go. His family went to Disney, had a great time because no lines during the pandemic, right? And ever since that trip, his health completely turned around and he's now expected to live a full life. Whereas before the wish, that wasn't going to be his dream. So it can be super, super impactful. Some of the other statistics talk about how wish kids say it's relieved their traumatic stress. Parents talk about it improving their child's overall well-being. And medical providers also talk about the compliance with treatment. For a lot of these kiddos, their health journeys are not short. They're long, involve a lot of different treatments and a lot of pain. And having the wish as a motivator to keep going in their treatment journey can be super, super powerful. So we'll go next slide. So today I'm joined here by Melissa, and she is going to share her family's story about her daughter Kendall's wish to go to Walt Disney World. So please welcome her.
My name is Melissa Hammell. As Sierra said, this is my daughter, Kendall. She had a very, very long journey with leukemia. So it started in September of 2021. Kendall was 4, about 5 at the time, and she was going to preschool, a lot of headaches, stomach aches, and just kind of not feeling well. And so I was getting constant calls from the school. We doctor at Mayo. She's always doctored at Mayo. She kind of had some other things from birth, but really they couldn't figure out what was going on, right? These things are normal kind of symptoms. They worked really hard. We kind of went on this journey then of going to see all kinds of specialists, and each thing we went to, they would find some things a little different. By December of 2021, she was kind of hiding to take naps, which is really unusual for a young child. So that kind of stuck out. She really wasn't gaining weight, and we kind of had these ongoing issues. So then January 2022, we really started having a lot of appointments. She was initially diagnosed with adrenal insufficiency and they thought, this is it. This is gonna take care of it. This is gonna make her better. Worked for a little bit. And then we saw more and more issues. Later through some of the tests they looked at, we found out she had a brain cyst and we thought, okay, this is it. Nope, that wasn't it either. So finally in February of 2023, so about a year and a half after we started her journey, she was admitted to the hospital after we had taken her to the ED for the second time in a week. And they said, we don't know what's wrong with her. We don't know what's wrong with her, but we're gonna keep her here till we find out. So they had done so many tests. They did a PET scan. Let's see if this shows us anything. And showed bone marrow involvement that was very unusual. Even still, we had about 10 specialists on her team at that point. They were communicating with each other and they said, we've tested for cancers. This can't be cancer. Did a bone marrow biopsy and lo and behold, she had B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So at that time, they told us what the involvement was, and she had masses of leukemia besides having it in her bone marrow. So we thought, you know, at least we have something to fight against now, and things were going to go well, was the hope. That's what everyone was hoping for. But Kendall she didn't do anything how anybody expected, and that was one thing we heard time and time again from her doctors. But so she started on a standard treatment plan. Didn't get her where she needed to be. We went to high risk treatment, didn't get her where she needed to be. July 2023, she did CAR T, which is where they take out certain cells and they put in new T cells and they say, this is gonna get it. So that was a minimum 5-week hospital stay in order to get that. Didn't get her where she needed to be. November 2023, she had a bone marrow transplant and her older sister was the donor. So that was another minimum 5-week hospital stay, and she had a bunch of other hospital stays. We were able to make it home for Christmas, but went back in shortly after and didn't get it. Still had cancer. They did some different things and she got very bad graft versus host. So her body fought against the cells of her sister. That was probably one of the worst things she had. She had blisters, head to toe rashes. We had to put her in wet jammies and let her sit for hours. Couple times a day, couldn't keep anything in her stomach, so had to have IV nutrition, liver issues. Finally, February 11th, 2024, Super Bowl Sunday, we get a call, test show no cancer. So we're ecstatic. It's 9 p.m. at night, her doctor called us. Super excited, but we were cautious. She had still been doing chemo. Usually after transplant, you don't do chemo because it takes care of it. So she had still been doing it. Unfortunately, by April, cancer was back. So that's really when we started to look at kind of our options are limited. And in her treatment, we knew she was going to have to start really intense treatment again. And we talked with her doctors and we said, what about this Make-A-Wish trip? We had applied for Make-A-Wish and I want to say the summer of 2023. And so we said, you know, she's feeling okay right now. She's probably the best we've seen her in a while, and we're going to have to start really intense treatment again. So do you think we should go? And they were absolutely, yes, you guys should go. So Make-A-Wish, we contacted them and they pulled together Kendall's Disney World trip in a week and a half. A week and a half from when we said we want to go, we were headed to Disney World. And that was amazing. So they pulled out all the stops. You know, we had a limo that transported her to the airport. Can you go to the next slide? This is transplant day when she got her bone marrow transplant. I guess I forgot to mention, this is my husband, Lucas, and we have 2 other children. Kenzie, our oldest, and Kennedy, our youngest. This is the morning we were going on our Make-A-Wish trip. We had that suitcase up there completely packed full of all of her medications, fluids, all the things we would need to be able to take care of her while we were on the trip. And we had to learn how to do a lot of things ourselves so that we didn't have to be in the hospital. This is actually once we came back and she started her intense treatment. She actually had a fracture in her knee and had bloody noses so bad she basically had to keep her nose clipped. So this is when she had some of the graft versus host, some of the blisters you can kind of see sticking out of her hat there, and all the kind of medications and things she had to be hooked up to just to get through the days. But so week and a half, Make-A-Wish got this trip together for us. And we had a limo, we had wish greeters met us right at the airport, took us through everything, got us through security with all of her medications, which was a concern for us because we had syringes and all kinds of things. So got through that, introduced us to the pilots. The kids got to see the pilots. They had everything arranged for us. So when we got down there, there was a rental car. We were able to just go and pick it up. Give Kids the World Village is where you stay if you want to as a Wish family. Only different Wish families stay there. And that place is also just an amazing place. There's a villa you stay at. When we got there, they already had a wheelchair there for Kendall. They had a stroller for our other daughter, all ready to go for us. They have different theme parties each night there. They have a swimming pool and a wading pool. So like Kendall had exposed lines that went right into her skin, couldn't really get wet, but absolutely loved to swim. So they had shallow pools she could actually get into, which was just awesome for her. Got to jump to the front of all the lines. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is meeting the pilots on the plane. And then this was the in front of the villa that we stayed at. When you go there, they also, the child gets to write their name on a star and it goes into their star galaxy. So it stays up there forever. And then if you ever go back, then you can schedule a time with them to view your child's star where they wrote their name. And it's really neat process they have for that. They have a salon the kids can go to. Everything is free there. They have an ice cream shop that opens at 7 in the morning, so you can have ice cream for breakfast and all the things. You know, we got passes to the parks, and Kendall got very good at showing that, so we could jump to the front of all the lines. You know, up until from the time we applied for Make-A-Wish until we went on this trip to, there were the volunteers who worked with us, and we had meetings by Zoom and explained kind of what she wanted to do. She got to explain her wish and what she liked and didn't like. And then every month she would get a gift in the mail from them with a card, and it mostly related then to what her wish was. So I know we got like some cookie cutters, and she got some different coloring books or stickers, things like that. And she was really excited to get a package in the mail with her name on it. That just made it really fun for her and something good in all these days that were kind of bad. Can you go to the next slide? So this is when we were at Disney. You can just see, this is the little salon, and she had got that Jasmine outfit while we were there. So face paint at SeaWorld and cinnamon roll, riding some rides. She had the Make-A-Wish shirt, and then this Make-A-Wish lanyard has kind of her pass on it, that when she showed that, we got to jump to the front of the lines, and that was helpful. Also each day we kind of took a break while we were there, and we gave her some time to rest. One of the parks has a wish lounge, has a couch and stuff, so you could just rest, and we had to give her fluids every day and things like that. So that was good. So we're very thankful. We're incredibly thankful to have been able to go on this trip. Can go to the next slide. Oh, this is the pool that I talked about, and one of the theme nights was a Christmas, so they had Santa come and the kids got gifts. Also, they have a gift fairy, so each morning there was gifts for the kids on the porch and things like that. And then the next slide. Things didn't go well when we got back. So as soon as we got back, we had more scans. Kendall's cancer had come back really bad, so we tried treatment again, and it was very tough for her. And then on by the end of June, we took Kendall home from the hospital on hospice. And she passed away on August 7th. So ultimately, I guess I wanted to come in and just talk about what our Make-A-Wish experience was, because that trip meant everything for our family. To be able to see her happy and have that time with her, Make-A-Wish pulling that together in a week and a half so we could do that at a time when, sorry, it's big. So we could do that at a time when she felt good. Really was something that our family will never forget. We owe a lot to Make-A-Wish for doing that, because it did give us hope. It gave us a chance to not think about everything that we had coming, everything that was going on at the time. Before we went on our trip, we spent about 6 months in the hospital. So that was 6 months of our family being in different spots or spending our entire weekends at the hospital as a family. And being able to go and see the excitement of all the kids. Our kids still talk about it. We have pictures up all over of it. It's just, I can't say enough about what that trip meant to our family. And what the organization just really means to other families too, who have similar situations. And it did give Kendall that kind of renewed spirit to come back into treatment and hospital stays. We got back on a Wednesday, we were in the hospital on a Friday. So right back in, but it did give her more to be able to give that another try. And we were thankful for all the time we got.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your family's story. I guess we'll wait till the end if anyone has any questions for her about Kendall and their wish experience. But thank you so much, Melissa. You have next slide. Awesome. So as she shared, you know, for her daughter and for her family, this was really a moment to refresh her spirits before going back into treatment and give them some really incredible memories together. So that was an example of a wish to go. That is our most common type of wish that we have. And in that, going to Disney World is the most popular wish that we have. I believe last year we sent about 75 families to Disney. And something that's, I think, really special about our program is that, you know, the wish child is the one that's sick, and the parents are the ones that are managing the treatment. But the siblings are really affected too. So as you heard, Kennedy and was it Kenzie? Kennedy and Kenzie got to go on the trip with them as well, because they're right there in the hospital every single weekend too. So we are super, super grateful for all of the partnerships that we have that make it possible. Sun Country is one of our big supporters. They provide about 2 million miles worth of flights every single year. And you may know they fly direct from Minneapolis down to Orlando, which is a big cost savings for us, as families of 4, families of 10 are going to Disney World on a regular basis. We also grant wishes to have, to go, to meet, and to be. The next slide. So like I said, wishes to Disney are super popular. We also have a lot of wishes to Hawaii. We had a really cool trip to Alaska earlier this year. She did a lot of fishing. I believe they flew back 40 pounds worth of fish from Alaska. Wishes to go to the Caribbean, wishes to go to a Lakers game. Anything you can think of, it's probably been wished for. Our next most common type of wish is a wish to have. So this can really be anything that you can think of. I've seen wishes where kids have family members that live far away and they wish to have their grandma there for Christmas. But we also have a lot of wishes that are involved in the child's home. So renovating a space to make it accessible for them or to be a part of their treatment. Something that's pretty common, especially for children that have muscular issues, is to wish to have a hot tub and to have a hot tub with a lift. I think the second part is kind of the parents' wish a lot of times, because it can be really challenging to lift them in. It can be really helpful with their treatment and is something that their whole family can enjoy. We have 2 boys right now that are brothers. They, parents live separately and they're both having their backyards renovated so that they can enjoy the outdoor space in their wheelchairs. So super, super, unique wishes all the time that we have, wishes to meet. My favorite one right now is we have a boy that has wished to meet Bill Gates. So, really anyone you can think of has probably been wished to meet. And they're, it's amazing to see their generosity, the different celebrities. Justin Jefferson, we are big fans of him at Make-A-Wish. He is amazing with our kiddos. We had, I think, 14 wishes this year to meet Justin. And 10 of those wishes all did a weekend together. So 8 of the kids were from out of state, 2 were from Minnesota, and the Vikings did it up for them that weekend. They were at the training facility. They went to a game. So anyone that's a fan of Justin, I'm sure that's most people in here, right? Vikings fans, knows about his thing of like being like a jet, right? And so they went out to the Air Force Base. They were in an airplane hangar and in front of a big jet, they did a Q&A with him. The video from it is amazing. Maybe I'll send it to Colin, he can share it with everyone, but watching the families talk about their experience or just not even be able to talk about their experience because it was so meaningful for their child and for their family. You can go to the next slide. Awesome. And so, as she mentioned, they were referred to the program and didn't necessarily start in their wish right away. But for most families, the wish process takes about a year. So from the time that they're referred until the time it happens, as you can imagine, for a lot of families, PTO is a scarcity when you're spending that much time in the hospital. But also, we live in Minnesota, so if you're having your backyard renovated, that can only happen certain times of the year. You can go to the next slide. I know we're running out of time here. But it truly takes a whole community to make it happen. So as she mentioned, there's volunteers that are working with the families from the time that they're referred until their wish comes true. There's people that go to the airport to help make that process super seamless. I was an airport greeter for a family that had 5 kids under 9, I think. I mean, that to me is just chaos, right? So like the more hands, the better of getting from the gate back into the limo to go back home. You can go to the next slide. And so every year our chapter grants about 250 wishes. Last year we granted 242 across the state. And that is all thanks to the 450 volunteers that we have across the state. You can go to the next slide. And so many of those are happening right here in your area. So last year we granted 10 wishes in your county. It might be kind of small to see, but and then surrounding counties there was 5, 2, 3, 2, 2. And so we're always granting, the numbers vary every single year, but we consistently are granting wishes for about 10 to 15 in Rochester every single year. And we grant wishes for kids that are from the ages of 2.5 until 18 at the time of referral. Sometimes they'll be a little older than 18 if they were maybe referred when they're almost 18 and it takes a little bit longer for their wish to come true. You can go to the next slide. And we at pretty much any given time have about 300 kiddos that are waiting for their wish to come true. There's 2 big pieces to this. Of course, one of those is funding. We don't always have funds for every single kid that wants to have their wish granted, especially when they're a little bit higher cost, like a wish to go to Hawaii with 8 kids. It's pretty expensive. The second piece of, why we have more kiddos that are waiting is because of awareness. So we did a study learning that we should be granting about 450 wishes every year when we're doing 250. And so the funding piece, but also a lot of people don't know that we're granting wishes for kids that are critically ill, not necessarily terminally ill. And so we just hired someone onto our staff that her sole job is to work with the medical community to make sure that they're referring every child that is eligible. Really trying to watch the time. And so we grant wishes for about $12,000 is the average cost. Like I mentioned with our partnership with Sun Country, we need 46 million miles every year. That helps us lower that cost pretty substantially to about $6,000 per child. Next slide. And so how we're funded. So we receive donations from individuals, from corporations. We are really working to grow our presence here in Rochester because we are granting wishes in Rochester and we historically haven't done a lot of fundraising here. This April, April's World Wish Month will be there's 2 different acai bowl places that will be fundraising for us. We've historically worked with Culver's, so hopefully you'll see our name in the community more and more. But we are so grateful to all the ways that people support us. Go to the next slide. And, oh, I love this picture of Kala. She went to Hawaii and she's from Rochester. And so I want to share a little bit about our volunteer opportunities. So as she mentioned, you know, they had volunteers that worked with them from start to finish of their wish. And so this is a great opportunity if you're looking for something that's a little more flexible. If maybe you're not in the state for the entire year, we ask for about a year-long commitment. And in this role, you're helping the child determine what their wish is. So finding what they like, what they don't like, what interests them, why it interests them. And then you work with our team with the information you collect, and then our wish coordinators on our staff plan the wish out for them. So this role is typically about 1 hour a month, and it's sending that gift that she talked about, sending that in the mail or delivering it to their home. And then getting to plan something special for them to reveal that that wish is coming true. So we often will have scavenger hunts, or they'll get a Dairy Queen cake that says, you're going to Hawaii, and making that experience really special for them. And then when able, going with them to the airport as well. You can go to the next slide. And so wish granters typically work in teams of 2 or 3. So you're welcome to do this with a buddy, or we often recommend that our new wish granters work with someone who's maybe done it a couple times before and is familiar with the process. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, you give that monthly wish boost, and then you can do a reveal party or a send-off party or a celebration for that child. And here we got another little guy going to Disney World that's also from Rochester. And yeah, so wishes need you. There's lots of different ways to get involved in our programming, whether that's you have an idea of another group we can speak to in Rochester to, you know, build awareness for our mission, or if you have a business that wants to get involved or you'd like to get involved as a volunteer. I have a bunch of information with me about our volunteer opportunities and applications if you want to sign up right now. But yeah, we have a couple minutes for questions. I tried to speed through it as much as I could to get all the info on, but yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has or stay and chat with you after. No questions. Awesome. Well, we covered everything, Melissa. We did it. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for having us come today. I'm always excited to share our mission, and I appreciate all that you guys do for your community as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah, Melissa, for your wonderful presentation, and thanks for your presentation today. Rotary will be making a donation to the Legacy Project in your names. And we want to thank you for coming all this way. And Melissa, thank you so much for presenting a very compelling and moving presentation. And you could really tell that the Make-A-Wish supported you and your family. Difficult journey. Thanks to our participating volunteers today, John, Sergeant at Arms, Greg for being step-in volunteer meal facilitator, Ashok, double duty 4-way test and introduction of guests, Allie for your reflection, and Colin greeter. And
But the new member, do we have a process for?
yes, we do. We will welcome her in future meeting. And Joseph for tech support, as always. Our speakers, Sierra and Melissa, thank you so much. I'd like to remind all Rotarians to go forth into the world and unite for good. We are adjourned.
Great.